because that record against left-handers, Tony, depends on who the left-handers were.
That would have something to do with it, wouldn't it?
You think it's tougher playing left-handers?
I liked them because they served in my backhand, happened to be my strength.
Did you ever tell anyone that
No.
was your strength? Had to find it out for themselves, huh? I like what Edberg said to you the other night. I mean, McEnroe said to you about Edberg. He said after the match in the interview, he said, Edberg's been telling everyone his forehand's better. He says, I thought I'd go to it a lot, and he could prove to me that it was better.
Show me.
He went to it a lot too, didn't he?
He sure did.
Mecir will probably stay on the baseline behind his serve for most of the match. He only comes in just every now and again, 1 out of 10 times maybe. Serves and volleys.
So Mecir holds service to open this best 3 of 5 set final match in Dallas for the WCT trophy and $200,000. McEnroe in the last 4 finals he's been in has yet to come away with a victory. This one he wants. Well, you can see that things have changed for both these players in the last 4 years of life on the tour. Mecir starting out in 1984 as a youngster and climbing up through the rankings to number 5 at the age of 22. And of course, with John McEnroe's layoff of 7 months, his computer ranking now just number 7. But he's determined to move it back up. Fine pass from Mecir, and McEnroe evidently thought the serve was long.
No, he thought it was a let, Tim.
Oh, a let. Yes, you can see him discussing that with the net judge.
Why don't you just admit when you make mistakes sometimes? I would if I made. Don't answer me back like that. Okay?
That's pretty good. John wants to do all the talking. He said, don't answer me back.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'll do the talking. I'll call you anything I want to call you. You don't get to say anything back. Comparing these two players, they both cover court extremely well. McEnroe says he thinks he serves better, no argument there, but he thinks Mecir's ground strokes are better than his. Have to give the volleying edge to McEnroe, and of course the edge in experience, a 4-time WCT champion.
Johnny, that point on the disputed let there, the only person who thought they heard it was McEnroe. Now, Mecir hit a winner on the returner serve. How much was that McEnroe saying, hey, you didn't really hit a winner, the serve was a let, psychological, like, you can't hit my first serve back for a winner?
I don't know how much psychology that was, but he better get used to it, because I think Mecir can hit some returns for winners off his first serve.
like that. That was off the second serve, but
take a look at the return of serve. A good second serve by Mac. Good and deep. Bingo. So I think that can convince McEnroe fairly early at break point here for Mecir not to come in on that second serve.
Can we have some more flashes, please? There wasn't enough in my face during my serve.
No flash photography, please.
A somewhat sarcastic request from McEnroe to eliminate the flash photography from the spectators.
meanwhile, where does he go with this second serve? Backhand or forehand?
Deuce.
That's interesting. He went to the forehand side, and it's always tough when you're playing against a two-handed player who's got equal ability off the forehand and backhand side. Where do you actually serve to them on the big points here? It's tough to find it out.
I still say you go in tight to the body. If being a lefty, you swing it into the right hip of the right-hander.
Which is what McEnroe did then.
Another break point.
Advantage Mecir.
These early games on McEnroe's service are key because, as we discussed before the match, McEnroe's service and how Mecir handles that service on the return are keys to the outcome of this match.
So an early break for Miloslav Mecir, who takes a 2-love lead in the first set.
That ball looked like it flew a little bit to me, and I understand that McEnroe likes one certain frame that he has. He had it restrung. We talked about him getting it strung at 53 pounds. This one was strung at 48. That gives you a little trampoline effect, a little slingshot effect. It looked like that volley just sort of flew on him over that baseline.
Why did he get it lowered, do you know?
I have no idea.
Baseline rally won by McEnroe.
In these baseline rallies that we see during the match, what McEnroe will be trying to do as the match develops is to put Mecir into a position so that he will play a short ball, thereby enabling McEnroe to attack that short ball and move to the net. But he doesn't seem in a hurry, Tony, in these early games to get to the net. He's just content to sit back here on the baseline and rally.
Probably trying to get settled in a little bit.
15.
Okay, here's Mecir's serve. It's not a big serve, but I think what he's tried to do is just develop it into an adequate serve where he can get it deep with a certain amount of pace and not let his opponent attack him on it.
Boy, questionable call. Looked like McEnroe's ball was wide to me.
15, 13.
Yeah, and I think McEnroe even thought it was wide.
I know Mecir did.
I think that linesman might have been blocked by Mecir, who was right on the line going for the ball. 15-30.
Now 2 break points for McEnroe. As a player, Newt, this when you want to try to get your service break back right after you've been broken, the other guy either lets down, might play a little too carefully. So here's a chance for John to get back on serve.
Good serve from Mecir.
And John thinks that serve was wide.
I think he thought it was long. Or maybe he realizes that he thought it was going long and then it wasn't.
Now he's talking in the direction.
Outside line, he won't overrule. You can see from there, I hit that ball. I was 3 to 6 inches outside the line. And what about that serve? What? Just play? He's telling me to play?
McEnroe talking to one. There's a code violation over 30 seconds. He's arguing with the supervisor who is in the wings over there. The rule book clearly states that the umpire should never make an overrule on a ball that is a close call.
Says McEnroe nailed that one about a foot out.
That was an interesting byplay, that last point, because the other night with Edberg, McEnroe went at this particular umpire, Jerry Armstrong, constantly, and this time, instead of arguing with him, he just went straight to the supervisor and talked to him like he was ignoring the umpire. That battle will continue, I'm sure.
Shot from McEnroe. Both players using the entire court.
Advantage McEnroe.
Watch this one. Takes Mecir's way out of court. Now he knows he's in trouble. He has to try to go for a winner because he probably couldn't recover. And McEnroe has a break point.
Gee, that was a good shot from McEnroe. He took the pace off the ball, used extra top spin to get the angle.
You can roll those ground strokes and make it hit inside the service box. You can take a guy out of court.
Tony, I love the way Mecir jumps on a short ball. As soon as he sees that ball landing short, he'll get it very early, hit a strong approach shot, and move to the net.
There's the key, the strong approach shot. He can do that off either side. He doesn't have to chip it. He can drive it.
Shot from McEnroe for another break point.
This was a super shot from McEnroe. Just look at his racket work now. He moves in like he's going to play an approach shot, and then
Time warning. That was really good. That tail was a lot of good, isn't it?
look at that disguise.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Meanwhile, McEnroe back on court has started his dialogue going with the umpire. Keep up the good work. You got a lot of guts. Make all those overrules, he says.
No, he's talking about the time warning, the violation he got. That's what he was complaining about.
That happened 3 points ago. I guess he was stewing on it.
Juice.
What happens on the next warning? He loses a point, doesn't he?
He does. Third deuce in this game, and then the unforced errors thus far. Almost 2-1.
Advantage Mecir.
The point penalties go warning. You lose a point, you lose a game, you lose the match. I've seen John go to 3 of those, and I said, why didn't you go to the 4th one? He said, I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid.
Advantage Mecir. Holds on and takes a 3-love lead in the first set. We'll return to Reunion Arena in Dallas in a moment.
3 games to love.
McEnroe will be serving at love 3 as we continue, and early dialogue between McEnroe and the chair umpire Jerry Armstrong, and some remarks directed at the supervisor Keith Johnson in complaint about Armstrong.
More than dialogue, Tim. That was a real
Monologue,
outburst.
actually.
Brutal. But John is really testing and tempting Gary Armstrong, the umpire, and that court change. He really worked him over. He said, I'm going to say anything I want to you. I'm not saying you can penalize me for him. I talk to you a lot. You can't do anything about it.
I like the last bit. He said, come on, big boy. He said, we're on a match here. He said, I'm going to test you the whole match.
So McEnroe, meanwhile, will have to get himself back into this first set. Down a break.
Love
So
15.
here's a little of the monologue directed at Jerry Armstrong just moments ago between games.
Usually it takes about a set or two, but this time you managed to do it in a game and a half. That's brilliant. You know that? You're going to hear a lot of it, let me tell you. You're going to hear more and more of it. There's nothing you're going to do about it.
Well, that was a taste of McEnroe's early mood here, being down 3-love. Clearly unhappy with his play and the work of Jerry Armstrong.
He's also down love 30
in this game.
Three break points for Mecir to give him 2 breaks and a 4-love lead in this first set. And Mecir made a terrific return of serve off a very fine McEnroe serve. He didn't hit it real solidly, but got it down low. Was able to stay in the point. It's wide.
Just wide from McEnroe. Great attempt by McEnroe, actually. Didn't have much room to maneuver here at all.
Watch this ball hit the top of that, just sit there for a moment, sits, hits twice. John gets to it, angles it, the only thing he could try to do, and missed it wide. So Mecir, here's a look at McEnroe. Only possible try he had was to angle it because it was so close to the net. Now McEnroe in big trouble in set number 1. Mecir served with 2 breaks at 4-love.
15.
Quite a surprise when you think about these players have played twice and Mecir has not even won a set. And here he's looking at a 5-love lead if he can hold serve. Big turnaround.
Ace. First of the match.
Reminds me a little bit of my final here in '74 when I played this young kid that nobody ever heard of called Bjorn Borg. I was down 4-love in 5 minutes.
14.
Consecutive aces by Mecir. He hasn't had any in the tournament thus far through the first 2 matches. Nails 2 in a row against McEnroe. And McEnroe didn't even try for that one. He just conceded the 3rd one in a row. And it is 5-love. Miloslav Mecir, first set.
Mecir leads 5 games to love.
McEnroe best 3 of 5 set championship match. And meanwhile, between games this time, a more subdued John McEnroe, as we look back on videotape just moments ago. Not a peep out of McEnroe, who had 3 aces sailed by him in the last game for Mecir's 5-love lead. And I think here, if one can guess what he's trying to do, is to compose himself, get himself back into a more concentrated mood here. Now, gentlemen, do you just let this one go and start over in the next set, or do you try to battle back?
I think you try to hold serve here and then make Mecir hold serve to win the first set if he can. Then John would start serving in set number 2. You see 32 wins, the best on the Grand Prix Tour this year by Mecir. McEnroe, normally when he has any kind of an argument with an official, line spurs, whatever, usually comes back and plays better. Today, thus far, after every little outburst, he has lost the next point or 2, so it has not helped. So I think he's trying to settle down. So I got to get into this match.
Had a good serve and then missed the volley.
Love 15.
Had the drop shot.
Well, Tony, he's got to get back to the basics. Wouldn't you think of how he's going to win this match is serving and volleying, getting to the net, trying to cut the court off from Mecir.
Got to think about tennis. Just missed it. Believe it or not, that's only the 4th point that McEnroe's won thus far on his own serve. And we talked about the key, Nuke, being how well McEnroe serves. So he's not effective with his serve, and as a result, he's down love 5.
This is best of 5 set match, though.
Oh, it's a long ways from over.
Long way to go.
$15.30.
Tony, you said the other night when McEnroe was playing Edberg, you said you still had a question mark. McEnroe hasn't played a lot of 5-set matches for a long time. How will he come up after such a tough match against Edberg? Will he be able to bring himself up again? And that's really the key, isn't it? If you're match fit, there's no problem. If you're not match fit, you can have a problem. What causes that problem? Is it physical or mental or a combination?
I think for John it's physical if he's having a problem. I mean, physically it is 2-set points now for Mecir.
See that the last time he lost a love set was in the Australian?
Yeah.
You know who he was playing?
I give up.
Yugoslav. Long name.
Zivojinovic?
Yes, you got it. 5th set.
And so Mecir wins the first set 6-love. And a concerned-looking John McEnroe has now got to somehow summon up the reserves necessary to get back in against this impassive-looking Slovakian, Miloslav Mecir. Mecir said yesterday that that set just took 26 minutes for Mecir to win. He said yesterday that he likes McEnroe, that he considers him a friend, and so I don't think any of the battle that comes out here will be directed McEnroe to Mecir. But McEnroe somehow has got to get the spark going again.
Tony, that's the first real aggressive point that we've seen McEnroe play.
Here's another look at it. See, John on the attack really hit that forehand hard. This one was very close. Aggressive. This is a new match for McEnroe. You say that's history now. I'm in a 4-set match, so I've got to win 3 of the 4 sets.
Would you agree that this opening game of the 2nd set, McEnroe will try to throw everything he has to get a break?
I'm sure he will. He's got to get into it as soon as he can. He sure don't want to fall behind in this set. And from Mecir's standpoint, when you beat a player of McEnroe's stature, 6-love in the first set, you know he's going to get better. That closes the gap, and sometimes you have a problem playing your best tennis. One of the great things about Mecir is he uses the entire tennis court.
30-15.
Here's the touch and the drop. And now, before McEnroe can recover, as quick as John is, bingo, cross court with a lot of authority. 30-15.
Wide. Great touch shot from McEnroe again. Very similar to the one we saw earlier on the run.
And terrific court coverage by both players. Here's a drop shot. Now Mecir, a pretty big fella, gets to that ball pretty comfortably and just misses it down the line.
Not only did he get to it, Tony, you see how good a balance he had after he hit the ball? It was completely on balance. Oh, that's a great shot. Right in the line.
McEnroe thought otherwise.
I thought that might have been out myself.
Goddamn conspiracy!
It's a conspiracy.
On that approach shot, Mecir acted like he was going to make another drop shot here, and then he just goes deep. See, John has started the other way. He thought that ball was wide. Certainly not happy about it. Now he's making Mecir wait.
He may get a tight warning.
He might.
Which would be a point, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Meanwhile, 40-30 for Mecir, with a chance to open the second set.
I wonder what the conspiracy is.
Feels like all the calls are going against him.
Miloslav Mecir holding serve with a perfect passing shot, and he leads 1-love second set, having won the first 6-love. We'll return to Dallas after this word from your local stations. First set, leading 1-love in the second. And through that first set, you can see that Mecir serving his first serve at 78%, McEnroe at 65, and 13 unforced errors from McEnroe.
More winners by Mecir and fewer unforced errors, so McEnroe still to get on the board and win his first game of this final.
Well, as we went away to commercial, John McEnroe did a little contemplating, meditating over there.
He's really frustrated. He's boiling inside.
You know, Tony, one thing you need to do to establish in a match is to get a rhythm going of how you change ends, what you do at the change of ends, and every time John's changed ends so far, it's been different. One time he was abusing the umpire, the next he was sort of sitting there staring, and this time the towel over his head. There's no rhythm to his game yet.
That hit the top of the net, bounce over McEnroe's racket.
15.
Now, it looks like McEnroe just misses this, but it actually ticks the top of the net right here. It's a let cord and jumps right over his racket head. %. Boy, we keep talking about McEnroe has to serve well to play well in this match.
He only won 5 points on his serve thus far through 7 games and 2 points.
Let's give Mecir some credit. He has been terrific. He's returned serve well. He's served well, made good passing shots. He's been very, very solid, playing very confidently.
Watching him practice yesterday, he was very loose and relaxed, and I said, you know, hey, $200,000, that's the most money you've played for. And he said, well, you know, I don't really think about that so much. I just want to win the match. And asked him if it was important to beat McEnroe. He said, of course, I'd like to beat McEnroe because it's McEnroe, but I just play hard each time to win every match. And had a terrific attitude, and it's so far in evidence here today that he was well prepared mentally and physically. But it is a best 3 of 5 set final. Perfectly timed lob from Mecir.
The guy has tremendous touch. You know, he really has control of the tennis ball. He went up there. He had a choice of trying to roll it cross court. He could have dropped it down the line low. Instead, he chooses to go over the top. He holds the racket nicely. John's not sure where it's going to go. And look at this well-placed offensive lob.
And
2 break points.
Oh, that was there too.
John is not volleying really decisively.
30-14.
And for a guy like Mecir who moves that well and has good ground strokes, if you give him too many swings at you, he's going to get it by you.
He's not getting a lot of volleys to hit in nice positions, though. A lot of them are below net height, going pretty fast.
That first one on that serve was high 4-inch shoulder height. He didn't just do enough with it at all, I don't think. Still a break point for Mecir. Good save by McEnroe.
Juice.
There's McEnroe's serve, getting Mecir out wide, and a beautiful volley that time, nice and deep. He's got his opponent way out of court now, completely in control of the point with the serve, the volley, and the smash. That's the type of game he needs to play.
We're at deuce.
Well, big chance for Mecir that time. Let it get away.
Yeah, that was not a good shot, was it, Tony?
Advantage
After a
McEnroe.
brilliant return, he was set up to play the passing shot. Let's have a look at why he missed that. And then a very awkward volley.
Well, the ball came straight at him on that one, but he really let it get away by not making the passing shot. He was so close.
Looked like he pulled off the forehand as he tried to make the pass shot on it.
This could be a big confidence builder for McEnroe if he can get on the board here. He's done it.
The exaltation gets the crowd with him. Shook out 2 break points. Look at this. How often do you see John McEnroe ask for a little help in the crowd and receive it? He has not been a crowd favorite in too many situations.
Mecir's got to be careful here.
1 minute.
Here's the last point. This is the first game that McEnroe has won, and watch his reaction. Well, a little levity there, and now we're 1-all in the second set. Mecir to serve.
Well, you know, he has successfully, I believe, relaxed himself here with this whole little episode.
But you look at Mecir's face. Mecir's well aware that this is danger time for himself. He has to play some very tight points here, or...
Well, that's not bad.
That was bad luck for McEnroe. He had a good forehand coming down that line.
15 minutes.
Might have been a winner, but if not, have been tough to volley. Here's Mecir. Now watch this approach. That one right there might have gotten past Mecir. Now he's got a sitter.
He really moves you around, doesn't he?
Oh, he sure
Left to
does.
right, uses angles, deep balls.
And the other thing, because he has good disguise, you can't get a head start. You've got to wait until he hits before you know which way to go. Mecir serves like a controlled pitcher. He's sneaky fast when he wants to be. The rest of the time he just tries to beat you with placement. Mecir really made a tactical error by not getting to the net after he got that lob over John's head.
Isn't this a super lob, though, from Mecir? Just took the ball almost on the half volley and came up with a perfect lob. And then coming into the attack position.
40 love. Fine shot.
I think we're going to see more and more of that now. I think McEnroe's decided no more of these baseline rallies. I'm just in on the net every opportunity.
I also think he's going to try to hit it when he comes in, not just block it, because Mecir's ground strokes are too good.
And the second serve, he's going to try to move in on the second serve and hit it and move to the net if he can.
McEnroe's starting to settle down a little bit. You get the feeling he's thinking more about tennis right now. Great lob by McEnroe to stay in that point.
That lob was a good lesson, Tony. The defensive lob. If you're out of position, and let's look how far McEnroe is out of position here. He's going to have to run right across court. No chance to do anything, so throw the ball up high and hope that it goes very deep. That one landed right on the line.